Yo, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to season 4 of How's everybody doing? It's been about 2 months. It's good to be back. Good to be back. We got season 4, episode 31 today. 31 episodes. That's crazy. We got super neat DJ duo group. Originally from Scotland. They go by Florana. 2 brothers, Michael and Rory Kerr. Now, they're from Scotland, but they've lived in Louisville for the past, I think they said 8 years. But they are in Scotland today, visiting family. And first of all, everybody can hear me, right? We're all good. Stream's good. Recording. Let me double check here. Looks good. But yeah, so Florana is in Scotland today, so that's going to be super cool. I got to speak with them a little bit earlier and see their faces for the first time. But yeah, they took a little trip visiting their family and stuff, so they've been in Edinburgh and a few other places. But other than that, so that's what we got on the agenda today. Welcome back. So I'm still working at Amazon. This week was Prime Week. Bro, let me tell you, I have never seen so many people order car seats. The first day delivering, there was like 5, in the huge boxes, there was like 5 car seats. And they're all, and I have to unload the whole van just to get to one of them. Man, this week was, I worked Tuesday through yesterday, and it was just like every day was, what are y'all ordering? And some of those boxes, y'all must just order boulders and anvils, bro. It's ridiculous. What's up, D3s? How you doing, man? Good to see you. I appreciate the promo yesterday. So, yeah, so the week at Amazon was crazy, but I'm still doing that part-time. And then also, my work with Sarah Mache. Things are going pretty well. We've got a couple of songs. One song that came out, I believe I had ended season 3 after this song, my song with her, Moonlight, that I produced and recorded her at in Franklin of Dark Horse Studios. That was quite the experience, but we did that like a year ago. So that song came out in, I think it was the end of April. So that song's out. We got another one coming out at the beginning of July, and then we just finished a song. We're working with, if you're familiar with the Wipe It Down challenge that went viral on TikTok, the wipe. I got to record him, BMW Kenny. And we got some stuff going on with him. Sarah's in Miami right now, so. But yeah, everything is pretty much still the same. So it's about to be the end of June, and it's been like 2 months since I've been back on here. But it is. Let me tell you, it is good to be back. Let me pull up Florana's Instagram, and then we'll get to it. Yes, sir. So we got lots to talk about today. They brought up, when I was talking to them about what they wanted to talk about, some really interesting points that they brought up that I was like, okay, this is gonna be a crazy show. But yeah, other than that, yeah. So I gave you a little bit of background on who they are. What's up, Dad? Team Legal Video. Good to see you. So that promo video at the beginning, yeah, my dad did that. What can he not do? So, yeah, let's go ahead and get Florana in here. We're going to give him a ring. Keep in mind, they're in Scotland. Yo.
Hey, what's going on?
Yo, dude, good to see y'all. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good to see you too. Happy to be on.
Yeah, how y'all doing today?
Great. Elegant.
Yeah. Elegant. How's Scotland treating you?
It's so nice, yeah. It's really cool here. It's like 60s and 70s. It's beautiful.
Oh,
it's a really nice place. Yeah.
Bro, it's probably like 90 here. That's amazing. So what y'all got? What y'all got on tap for today besides this wonderful interview we're doing?
Really, Scotland's really all about hiking. Really, I mean, in the summer in June, if you can literally get outside and it's not raining, then that's where you are. And
Yeah,
that's kind of what you do. So yeah, we've been about town and whatnot, and because we kind of grew up here, so
right. So I gave kind of gave everybody just a little bit of rundown about who you guys are and what you do. But tell us a little bit more about, so in Scotland, where you grew up, and then tell us a little bit about what you guys do and who Florana is.
Yeah, so we grew up, we were born in Glasgow, Scotland, which is the biggest city in Scotland. And we grew up there, really influenced by like the city and things like that and the people around us. And then we moved to America later on after we'd finished a bit of school, and then we went to like high school in Louisville, of course. We went to Trinity, and then we both went to like our separate universities and stuff. So like I'm at DePaul now, and Michael just graduated Hanover.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, our big thing is music, which we started to release recently and work on. We're working on an album right now, actually. Yeah. We've been doing that for a while. That's what our big summer project has been.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a lot of people, like, I don't know, when they think of Scotland, they think of like little villages and like Braveheart and like stuff like that. But no,
good movie.
Yeah. Glasgow is about twice the size of Louisville, for reference. So.
Oh, really? Where y'all grew up?
Yeah,
it's twice the size of.
Big city. There's a lot of people, kind of thing. Yeah. Wow. And it's very metropolitan. So.
Oh yeah.
And what year did y'all move to Louisville or move to America?
Well, the thing is, it's kind of hard to say because we bounced around a lot.
Oh yeah.
Back and forth. So yeah, but I really couldn't put a year to it, to be honest with you.
But we've loved both for different reasons and stuff like that, and Louisville's been really welcoming and America in general. So it's been really nice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So when did y'all get into music?
Well, I mean, it's different for both of us. We've kind of been surrounded by music our whole lives. We've always had like some sort of connection to it. We've had like relatives that played instruments, but I started playing instruments when I was in the third grade. I started picking up like a few things, and I taught myself guitar, and then I was moving on to things like piano, and then bass, and then like drums too, and things like that. So ever since then, I've like exploded and like kind of been like going through more and more like discoveries in music, changing tastes and things like that. Like I used to be just like a huge rock head, and that was the only thing I listened to.
Yeah.
And then like in high school and stuff, it expanded out to things like, you know, like rap and hip hop and things, and then R&B and other dance genres. But yeah.
And I can't play an instrument at all.
That's okay.
So yeah, if you're talking about Florana music, this is kind of the guy.
Okay.
I'll write the words to some songs and kind of, I don't even know what the word is. Argue. I'll be the devil's advocate in the room. That's kind of going on. So that's kind of trying to swing the pendulum a certain way. And so yeah, that's kind of our relationship to music. I'd always had a real passion for music. I always listened to music. Like I'd always get iTunes gift cards for like Christmas,
dude,
and all that.
I remember the iTunes gift cards for Christmas, literally, yeah.
And you had to be like mad selective about like, okay, what songs is it, kind of thing, and pick from there.
God.
And I made some terrible decisions.
It was definitely a process. Yeah,
yes.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so, but that was kind of my relationship to music. I never thought I'd like get this into it, I guess. Me and Rory were mad into Rock Band. I guess that's the first time we ever worked together on anything.
Killer.
The video game? The video game?
Oh, yeah.
No one wanted it.
I forgot about that game.
We had the
classic.
Whole, I mean, it was like, you know, the guitar and the drums and oh god, I'd give anything to get that thing back. I mean, that was a fucking machine. That was proper.
Yeah, and it was that bad. Rory got so good at playing different instruments. It got that bad to where I don't know why I agreed to this, but I would hold up the microphone so that he could sing and play another instrument simultaneously. I had no role.
Oh my God!
To prove that he could do it. So, but yeah, there you go.
Well, no awesome. Microphone stand, but he was taller, so he got that role, and he was demoted.
Yeah.
Dang. Hey, everybody's got a job, man. Everybody's got a job.
I think it was that we did like one of those tours that we set up, and I felt you underperformed, so we went and we demoted you to.
You demoted him to the microphone stand, man. So, yeah, the music business is rough, bro. Get used to it. But so as you know, I would just tell us a little bit about DJing and like what goes into that, and when. You know, what? Tell us what that is. I mean, I know what DJing is, but like, what is y'all's process like as a group and as brothers, as two DJ brothers? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'll tell you something. I used to fucking hate DJs. I used to think
that's where we're starting.
Yep, they were nothing but like an aux cord, and I was like, "What is this really?"
Oh, nothing but an aux cord. Dang.
Yeah. So I was like, nah, what is this? But then I realized, I was like, oh shit, no, it's actually like a whole lot more complicated than that. Michael got a DJ board one day when we were in high school, and I was just kind of confused. I was like, I don't know what we're going to do with it, and it was just kind of confusing. And the more we played about with it, we more realized this like crazy musical potential behind this thing. Mm-hmm. And it is so much more than just like, you know, you think like, oh, it's a party, you know, you just play the hits and things like that, but it's not. You can really quickly throw up until you're actually think about like when you're in the car with your friends. Until you're actually put on the aux, that can be a big thing. Like, it can be you can make and ruin friendships with that.
It's a big role.
So that is really where we started. So the process has been trying to figure out like a good strategy for going to parties, getting events right, but then also smooth transitions between everything. Mm-hmm. You want to cultivate like a nice, what we do is like, we say like it's a 5 set. So with it, it's kind of like,
it's like a roller coaster.
It is, yeah. So like you want to have 5 songs that all go together in some way or another. But you want to make sure that you don't
nice, man.
if you want your 5 set to be right, we kind of do it in like a, I guess what shape would you call it? Kind of like a peak. So you want to start off with a song, and then your following song should build on that one. And then your third song should be like the highest. But then after a while, you can't keep building songs up at a party because it leaves you with nowhere to go. Like I think you were playing Hanover. College.
Yeah, I was playing at Formal, right, like a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
And I'd done it once before at a sorority, but this was at a fraternity. And it ended at midnight. And so as a DJ, you kind of got your eyes on the clock as to like when things end and like, okay, what are we ending on kind of thing. And I can only describe this last 25 minutes as like a hurricane of white people music. And
nice.
I had stirred up a storm playing that. But
dude,
I hit a point with like 3 minutes left, which is like one song really, where I'd hit everything. I'd hit like the last one was Mr. Brightside. I'd hit like all these different songs.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, I'd hit every single one of them you can think of.
Okay,
really
so
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 minutes left. No idea what I'm going to, and when the song was kind of fading out and I was ready to struggling to transition into the next one, I actually heard someone saying, what on earth is he going to follow that up with?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's another, that teaches another point too about knowing your audience, because you got to understand, like the parties that we normally play, the people would not, like, we do stuff in Chicago too. And the people of Chicago would not take well to Mr. Brightside coming on like at a party.
Yeah, no. I bet.
It's a whole different like scene. So you've got to know who is in the crowd and like what kind of people are coming to that event. What are they expecting? And then how can you work that in, but also surprise them at the same time?
Dude, absolutely. That's amazing. So the 5 song kind of set, the 5 set you were saying. Talk a little bit more about that. Like, what would be if you had 5 songs that you were playing at, so like you said, it was a bunch of, when you were playing at Hanover, it was a bunch of white people music. You stirred up a storm. What would be So for like, if you were DJing in Chicago, like you said, and they didn't like Mr. Brightside, what would be an example of like a 5-song set or a 5-set, like different songs you would play?
Mm-hmm.
5-song set. So one of the things you want to keep in mind is that you don't want to play a same artist over and over again.
And you never play the same song twice. Ever.
That's a sin. That's a sin. That makes sense. Cardinal sin in DJing. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
Okay, so like one that you could start off with was you could run into like one you could start with if you were starting off something like, okay, so you want an opener. You want one song for your first track that's going to explode and people are going to know what it is. So if I'm in Chicago, I'm probably going to play Father Stretch My Hands Part 1. Start it off, Hometown Hero, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Then you want to follow up with something that's around the same tempo and around the same bounce. What would you follow that up with?
It's funny, when DJing, like a lot of DJs write out like 30-song sets and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But we've kind of mastered the notion of switching between songs, that we can really read the room and like wing it, the whole thing kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and it works to where you start a song and then based on the first 45 seconds, you can kind of tell where it's landed, that kind of thing. And from there on in, you've got the headphones on, you're figuring out the next one. So
I'd say like you could go like Father Stretch My Hands, and then something a little bit softer, like you could play the first little bit of Untitled 7 by Kendrick Lamar. And then you could take the whole high on the third one, like you play just that little bit at the beginning, just like him with the beat and everything, and then you could take it to the real high on number 3. You could go something like Sicko Mode, like something that's just going to make the place explode.
Of course, or Mo Bamba, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but that's okay. Cool. Okay,
and
so
then
what?
You take it down from there because it's like all right, Sicko Mode. That's like Travis Scott and a Drake feature. It's like there's nowhere to go from there. You can't take that to like a higher thing. So you got to find a way after that to do songs 4 and 5, which let you down. So it's like you want to have things that are a bit lower intensity, and then once you figure out those two, then you start the whole process over again.
Yeah.
So it's just like that throughout. So that's kind of like how you guide your shows, like the 5-song. That is cool. I never would have, but that makes sense. So knowing your audience, the 5 set, and so how long would your typical DJ set be?
Oh, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Oh, okay. 4 to 6 hours.
Okay.
4 to 6. But the thing about that, like, could you play music for 4? Like, do you have 4 to 6 hours of music without repeating a single song?
Yeah, it's a lot of music.
Without playing the same artist too much. I mean, here's the thing. We found out pretty early on, you're not going to get through 4 to 6 hours of music without quite a bit of Drake if you're at, like, a college level party. It's like, it's hard to do. Because the man's just like, when he's not on his own songs, he's on somebody else's, and those songs are hits as well. So you gotta
nobody's stopping Drake, bro. Nobody's stopping him.
Nobody.
Yeah, I tell you, going for 4 hours playing music, you start to hit I think anyone is going to run into this problem. It's how many Drake songs are we playing?
Oh yeah.
Like, you really got to keep tabs on that because it can get out of control.
It can get out of control. Too much Drake. Too many Drake songs.
It can. And the worst thing you really want, like, you want to establish a presence. So, like, anyone can walk up and do basic transitions on a DJ board, next song to the next. But for us, it's important to know or make yourself known presence-wise. Like, oh, there's a DJ here. That kind of thing. Because there's something going on. It doesn't have to be some crazy, scratching. None of that. But it has to have presence to it. And so
not always playing like all songs all the way. Rarely ever playing.
Oh yeah, no, I never
songs all the way through. And that's the other thing is like you can start around like hour 4, hour 5. You start to like lose your mind a little bit because you've been listening to music for so
long time. Yeah.
And you can't repeat anything, so then some whack shit starts getting thrown at you. Like we have a playlist in our library called 2 a.m. Who's Left? It's like all these songs are it's like, right, okay, I bet they've never heard this. Here's a crazy remix of like Stronger by Kanye.
Yeah.
Mixed it and like, mad shit.
And there's some funny playlists as well. Like we've got one called like Intermission, which is funny, where we'll throw on something like, I don't know, the Cantina Band song.
Sometimes you need a pee. And you
Dude,
can't.
yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, so
you throw like Cantina Band and be like, alright, I'll be right back. And then you run to the bathroom and be back.
Yeah, but there's a lot of different ways to do things.
Remixes are huge too. But it's hard to find a good remix of things at times. It can be. You want to present music to people in a new way, but you also got to know that if it's a really lovable song, people will want to hear the original version. So it takes like a knowledge of also what people want. That takes communication with people, listening to people as they come up and suggest things. Suggestions, that's another thing. Jesus, oh God, trying to work that in.
What is that like? People, especially probably drunk people, coming up asking you to play probably the same song over and over, and we already established you can't do that.
And so sometimes, man, there's it'll be like one girl who is like 10 shots in and like is so determined to have like the shittiest song played.
That's Karen.
And will like berate you over the sound of the speakers, which is very impressive. Over the sound of the speakers to get you there. And sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, yeah, and then just do it.
What with suggestions, like a lot of people are like, okay, just put it in the queue. But here's the thing, and that's what I kind of do, but I kind of disguise it in a way, because back to the 5-song set thing, what I'll do is I'll play the next song, whatever it is, and then I will listen to whatever song they have suggested on the headphones. Because I don't know all music. I've never claimed to know all music,
Right.
And then make the executive decision.
So then I'll make the executive decision first. Does it play? Does it not? And then second, where does it fit in that 5-song kind of pattern or where we're at right now? If it's slower, okay, we'll keep it off to like 3 songs more, 2 songs more. If it's fast and it's a great suggestion, then yeah, we'll whip it up next.
It's a gamble, because sometimes you think like, oh, I really don't know about this, but these guys seem really sure, and then you throw it up, and we've seen it like, songs we've never even heard of, and the place goes fucking ape shit.
Yeah,
when
that's
it goes on.
Well, and then I learn, and then it becomes part of the
Then
playlist.
you add it in, it's like, alright, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, cool. Yeah, that's some gems, key information. I'd never even had thought about any of this. I don't know too much about like how to DJ, but like that's interesting. So the 5 set and dealing with knowing your audience and where you are. So like knowing your audience again, but like that's super interesting.
Yeah.
So what? I got a question. When you were at the formal, what did you? Do you remember?
What I followed up with?
Yes, yeah, the final song.
Yeah.
Exactly. What did you follow up the final song with?
Well, see, the thing is, like, what ended up happening that night, I followed up with Leave the Door Open.
Oh, dude.
See, because right there...
That's modern Motown, bro. That's modern Motown.
Yes,
That's
you
amazing.
didn't really know...
See, sometimes you can just completely sideline them with something, and it's like, it doesn't quite fit, it's not the 5 bracket, it's not any of this, but the song itself is so good, and people are thinking like, if it's like trap beat, trap beat, trap beat, trap beat, and then that, it like, it can be hard to do, but at the same time, once you do it, like, people can go crazy.
And also, like, the reason it kind of went was the last chord on Mr. Brightside, I believe it's the first chord played in Leave the Door Open.
Yeah, so it's the same note.
So it's the same note.
A transition.
Yes.
Sounds like a transition to me. That's super cool. So it's like, so things like that just kind of work out sometimes. So
yeah. So, and we have this expression. We say half of the coolest shit we've ever done is completely by accident.
Yeah.
But we always make it look like it was planned.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Bro, some of the best beats are made and you're not even thinking about it, and you're like, wow. And then when you are thinking about stuff like that, did y'all freeze? Dang. We were doing so well. But they're across the world, so we'll give them a pass. Yo,
there we go, we're back.
Sorry. I was like, oh no, they froze.
Yeah, no, we're good.
What was I saying about we were just talking about the follow up.
Beats.
Oh yeah, so, like you were saying, you know, some of the stuff that y'all do is just not planned at all. Well, I feel like when you like I produce too, so you know when you're making beats, some of the best beats are made, you know, when you're not even thinking about it, and in a few minutes, you know, you just put something together, you think it works, and it does work. So that's super cool.
Absolutely.
Now, so this we talking about the 5 set. Talk a little bit about what is the importance of transitioning as a DJ into different songs. Like what is the Leave the Door Open, the first note of that was the same ending note on the last song.
Yeah.
So that obviously works. That's important. But like, how important really are transitions as a DJ? It's got to be huge.
It's the art form, is what it is. That's the entire art form. Is the transitions to try and get things to work together. It takes a comprehensive knowledge of like music theory, of rhythm, tempo, key, and like arrangement. So you have to have a vast knowledge of like music, not only from like a sonic perspective, but also from like how it makes people feel, the speed of it, and those kind of things. So the entirety, you want a song to have begun in a transition to happen so fast and so quickly that it almost like takes people a second and then they realize, oh my god, it's a different song. But it was so smooth that they didn't even notice like the transition into it.
Yeah. And so do not leave it silent at any point.
Yes, never let the music die, ever.
What happens if it goes silent?
Then I am going to come up with some. Well, yeah, I
leave people with time to think and turn around and talk. Exactly, yeah. You ever been dancing and then the music like completely cuts out? It's just like wow, I feel like it's like a roller coaster stopping in the middle of the tracks. Yeah, it's like damn, okay,
dang, okay.
But no, so it's interesting. Like if I don't have a next song and I'm winging it. And I'm like, okay, where on earth are we going? Or I get sidetracked because Karen's yelling in my ear or something like that.
Come on, Karen.
Come on.
Usually what I'll realize is I'll realize that it's ending. And depending on what song, whatever it is, I'll find some sort of way of looping. So what I'll do is I might loop it the last 8 bars and then cut out the high ends. So it's just all low ends. And it's just kind of riding like that, which means it's quieter, but it's not. People aren't going to realize because they're not. You can't hear it that well.
Yeah, it's all about perception. Song. It's all about perception.
And so people don't realize that it's the same song. They're just hearing this kind of low frequency, and that gives you time to rise into whatever one you're going to next.
And with that looping, you can also do like the classic. They call it like the EDM rise.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Like dum 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 dum, and then speed it up, and then pause it for like a hair of a second. So it gives, you can use the pauses to your advantage, but only when they're very brief. So pause allows people to go, what? And then you hit the new song, and then but it has to be within like a blink of an eye in order for it like to catch the people right at the right time. So you catch their attention and then hit them with a banger.
Yeah.
Catch their attention and hit them with a banger.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, that's super cool. And this all makes sense, really. Like it's all about perception, and and especially no dead air, no silence. Can't have that, because that obviously it's when you're dancing and the music stops. It's like, what the heck, man? Yeah. So that's super cool. So as like you both DJ, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as DJs, I've seen a lot, in America at least, a lot of DJs also transition into producing and making music. Obviously, you all do that, so talk about that.
Well, production almost came first. When I was really into rock music, I was like in like a bunch of different bands at the same time. I was known as like, I could play a couple of instruments, and so I just kind of got shifted around, kept changing and stuff. So producing kind of came naturally because we knew all the parts of a band and all that. And then when these like garage band and things like that happened, then it was like, okay, now you have complete freedom, and you can. And I started to become fascinated with that because it was like, all right, yes, finally, no one to argue. And then Michael came along. But until that point, it was this fun time where it was just like experimentation and synthesizing, and then this whole world opened up, really. So DJing and that go hand in hand, because when you're producing your own music and you're aware of like scenes at a party and things like that, you know the type of elements of music that get people going. You know the speed it's got to be moving at. You know like the general sound of things. So it's almost like when we're DJing, we're also like studying as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like a little social experiment too, to try and find out things, and then we use that and put that into our music when we make it, based on the things we know will get people moving. Because at the end of the day, I mean, your music, I mean, it can be really hard. Unless making music to be performed live is a great tool to do. So making music with live
performance in mind, yeah,
can be a great guide for what kind of instruments and things you want to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we started producing. I don't know when was that?
I don't know. It's
like probably like 2 solid years ago was when we really sat down and actually
3 years ago. 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
But yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, like the forms in which we've done it through have been endless. Like I guess if production counts as Rory in the basement with a guitar and me mumbling nonsense trying to come up with words. If that counts as production, then a lot longer. So
since we were kids.
Yeah. So, but as far as like live performance goes, you know, you can only DJ a frat event for so long in life. You know.
I'm sure.
So. Oh, hey, I don't know what the record is.
4 years. I mean, while you're there is cool. After you leave,
not cool,
bro.
Dude, yeah, yeah.
What are you doing? You not got a job yet?
But hey, if they're paying you, if their frats are paying you, man, I would go back and do it. But I get what you're saying. Like, it would be. It would be.
I'm here like 25, 26.
Well,
it's like, ooh.
And the other thing, one of the weird things is, some of the most sought after shows from like new artists and whatnot are the college shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, like the college will book an art, like U of L will book someone, that kind of thing. They do shows every year. Those are really sought after because like our generation or this age group are some of the biggest consumers of music.
For sure. Yeah.
So if you're DJing a frat party or something like that, you technically are a college show.
Mm-hmm.
For a short period of time. You may not be at that scale that like the college has booked so and so, but you're still at especially at small school like Hanover, like you're still there.
You get 300 people.
Yeah, you get 300 people in a room. That's pretty good.
Yeah, doing the show.
Yeah.
Bro, we had I went to Middle Tennessee State University, which is in Tennessee, and it's like 30 minutes east of Nashville. A couple years ago, my sophomore year, freshman year, they brought Ludacris, and that's not DJing, but like what you're talking about, the doing the shows, like what you just said, Michael. If you're in college like that, it's basically going to be a show. Like so we had Ludacris freshman year, and then sophomore year we had Black Bear and Lil Yachty, and that was crazy. And and then next year there was some I couldn't even go to it the next year, and then I graduated before. But it was like our spring concert, and I mean, especially when Lil Yachty was there, the whole school was there, and it was free. All you had to do was just go get a ticket. It was free though, so that was always really cool. But like you're saying, you know, you get 300 people in a room. I mean, when Lil Yachty was there, I'm pretty sure the whole university was at the basketball arena. But so that's interesting. So do you, keeping what you said, Ruri, about live instrumentation and producing like you're gonna play live, I think a lot about Travis Scott when people say that, because I just feel like his music, and his music just represents his shows so much, you know. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen like YouTube videos of his tours. I saw him at Bonnaroo back in 2017, but and not just him, but like, you know, when you said that, I think of, you know, live performances like that. It's like music like that is meant to be performed live. So you take that into account with what instruments you're going to play or how you're going to produce, and so talk about that. What are you all producing in? What's your DAW of choice?
we bounced around a lot. But our home is Logic. I trained myself in Ableton. I liked it. I got behind it and stuff.
That's what I use. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Ableton, but Logic was like the home ground because we started on GarageBand, and then Logic is like the steroid version of that. So that's like our home base. Talking about like music to be performed like that actually comes from the Beatles, because on their first albums they were trying to, because they got their popularity from playing around Liverpool and in those like beer halls and things like that. And in their first albums, what they were trying to do was to recreate that experience. There's a lot of reverb and kind of echoey, like hall chamber type stuff on their first albums. And it's because they're trying to give everybody the experience of what made them big, which was their presence live.
Wow. I did not know that, but that's super cool. So they were trying to replicate the beer holes and stuff like that with the reverb.
And with Travis Scott and with things like that, they're doing the same thing. I mean, obviously it'll get bigger when you get live. You can't give everybody that hit you in your chest sub bass through a headphone. You just can't do it. But trying to give people a taste of that is what's going to draw people to see you live, to see right, how could this get any better?
Yeah.
So when let's talk about your single, Unreal. Were you thinking like this, thinking about performing it live, or how'd that go?
Yeah, it was taken a lot from Chicago's house scene. Chicago's got a really big house music scene, and I've gone to many a party where it was songs that it was usually trap and things like that, but what you hear the music, and then somebody will have a sub there hooked up. And then it's the intro bit with the melody and things like that. You can hear it, and then when the bass hits on the first drop of the song, the whole house shakes. And that was the experience we were trying to recreate sonically with that song.
But what I will say is, by no means I don't know, with making music this long, the amount of different styles and genres there have been, we could really go in any which direction.
Oh, that's the thing, because we've been making music for so long. But trying to come up with Michael and I fought for months about what should be the first single.
Probably about a year.
Probably a year.
It's what the first single was, but then in the end we realised...
We kept changing directions. I mean, there was times when we had a 6-song rock album ready to go. There were times when I was just making beats up in Chicago for rappers. There were times when, it's been all over the place. So with a producer, you're gifted and cursed. Because you're kind of like a master of none. You can do everything, but then you don't know what to settle on.
The creative process is a roller coaster, bro.
Fiendish beast.
A fiendish beast, exactly. So you were making beats for rappers up in Chicago. What was that like?
Very as a little Scottish kid, very interesting. I was introduced to what would happen is I met some friends there, and then I would go over to their houses, and then we'd all get together and party on a night or whatever, and then all of them would start freestyling. Not me, I don't rap, but I was watching all of them freestyle. I was like, oh damn, these guys are all right, and I was poking about in Logic at the time, and so I put something together, and I was so nervous to show it to these guys. I just met them. I was a freshman at college, and I had just made this ditty little beat. And I was like, hey, so I made this little thing. I want you guys to hear it. Yeah. And I showed it to him. And my friend River turned around to me, and he was like, this is fucking dope. This is awesome. And if he hadn't said something like that, I don't know that I would have ever touched it again. I was so riding on that. So his support meant so much early on. And that's why with friends, when you show your friends music, it can mean the world when they give you that support. So I moved around, and their friends told their friends, and then I just got... So for a while I was just a beat maker. And my biggest influence was Kanye. And people really liked that. Because
dude, me too, bro. Still to this day, me too. That's a lot of mine.
Yeah. So I started making beats like him, and then people really started gravitating to that. And then so I just kind of went from there. And then I was working with a lot of different people, sending stuff over. Not really paying for things at this rate, because it was still between friends. So it was just something you did, and that made it more genuine and almost made people care more, because it wasn't seen as this, okay, $30 is a thing, and then, it didn't feel right. for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I was more working to I was really more working to get creative with people and try and let them guide the stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really informative about, that really taught me the most about collaboration with people and how difficult it can be, especially in creative forms, and the way to talk about things and the way not to talk about things as well, like about the beat in the studio and things like that.
We'll talk about that. What do you mean?
Okay. So you know, as being a producer, right? You're the entire band. You're everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come in and you're a rapper that I know or don't know, and, you know, just start, dictating things to do and what not to do and take that out and take this out. When somebody tells you, when you're making a beat with a rapper, it can be the most frustrating thing in the world because they'll say, try something else. It's a little bit vague, that. A little bit vague, just to say, try something else, try something else, try something else, time and time and time again. You gotta realize the creative, demands that you are putting on these people when they're doing all of this for free for you to do, you know, because they want to see, because they've seen talent in you and they want to see you succeed and they want to help you out and collaborate. It's respect is what it is. And leaving ego and everything like that at the door, because, you know, some people come in with a massive ego and they don't even have a single out. So you just kind of let them have their little show over there, and you're just like, okay, you know, it's like, oh, I've rapped for this person, and I've rapped for this person. It's like, all right, yeah, but you're in my college dorm room, so
let them know. Yeah, no, I feel you. I've dealt with some egotistical artists that they don't even have a single out. You're right, but that's interesting. The creative demand that comes with, you know, being a producer, and they say, you know, try something else. Well, can you give me a little bit of what you want? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's a good, super, super good point, though.
Oh, yeah. And also at the same time, I just had it. What was it? It's like, damn, it's gone. I had it.
Part of being an artist is being an artist and, having an idea of what things are.
Yeah.
And, suggestions and whatnot. Even if it is, I kind of like this album, and I kind of like the way this person makes music, and I'd kind of like to sound like him or her. Can we try something similar even? Something, I mean, that goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not something I don't know. I think a lot of people get into music because they've heard those massive songs, but they might not listen to an album ever all the way through.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that was it. Another thing. On working with rappers, some people get in it for the lifestyle of being a rapper.
Yeah.
And I fucking despise it. Do not show up crossed to the studio with two women.
Unless you're ready to work and you do actually work.
When you don't even have anything written, bro.
My rule is, if you don't have anything written and you're in the studio and you're paying for time, you better be Jay-Z, because nobody has time. But you know, if you're trying to get better at freestyling, I worked with a rapper a couple years ago, and he would just come over and I would make a beat and then he would just freestyle, and that's cool. But you know, we're all here on our own time trying to, you know, get paid and do this and enjoy it. But when you just suck and you don't have anything written, that's not gonna work.
Exactly.
And I write words. I write words.
Good.
I write
Nice.
I write lyrics, even for other people and whatnot, and I'll be the first to admit, if someone's making a song, it might not come to me on the spot kind of thing, but but that doesn't mean I'm not going to stop listening to it. I'll be like, okay, bounce it, I'll listen to it, and I kind of keep going with it and try some different things. I'll play it in the car. I'll play it in the shower. I'll play it wherever it needs to get heard until I've got something to write with it, kind of thing. Because I think a lot of people think that the writing process comes from the studio itself. And it doesn't quite work like that.
Well, when you get to the top, studio time is no longer $30 an hour. It's more like $1,000. So walking in and not having anything isn't really what the record label wants to hear either. So it's professionalism. It can also be respecting and courtesy. And look, some people just don't know. Some people just never been in a studio before. I was just making beats. I didn't even. My dorm room was my studio. you know, I would ask my roommates to be quiet while they recorded this verse kind of thing. Try not to blow the smoke at the microphone, like all that. Like,
damn, y'all were smoking in your dorms?
I can neither confirm nor deny, but we were.
It's Chicago. It's legal. Outdoors.
Is it really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, outdoors, yeah. That's dope, man. I had one of my buddies went to DePaul, but only for a year. But he was studying like piano and stuff. But yeah, that's cool. Cause I had a dorm, but like I was just starting to make beats when I was in the dorm, and I wasn't recording anybody. So
Right.
I never had anybody. I never had to like tell my roommate to be quiet. But my dorm was so small that it was literally just like it wasn't even.
Oh yeah.
And it's all just like concrete, you know.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I would scoot back my chair and hit my roommate's bed. Like I had so little, and I had this desk and this monitor and this television, and it was just like being like hunchback
exactly.
in Notre Dame trying to get everything done.
Yeah. No, I feel that, dude. So your song Unreal. So
Yeah.
Rory, you're playing the instruments, and Michael, you're writing the lyrics, or how did this song?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. With that song, we really had, like, a ton more with it, as far as lyrics and whatnot, that we'd had written. And then we kind of decided, just like, first off, I'm the person that reads up on every single marketing thing, every single strategy, every single, like, that stuff. Designing t-shirts, whatever it might be, trying to figure things out, marketing, branding, all that jazz. And so I was like, let's put something out as a 2-minute kind of introduction. Here it is. And we know, like, there were so many different directions we could have gone in, and there's so many songs that I think both of us agree, like, strongly agree are better, bigger, blow your head away kind of songs.
And they're coming on this album as
and
well.
They're coming for sure. But it's kind of like, let's start with this real small thing. Let's learn how to, like, let's go in zero marketing budget. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. Let's test it. Let's figure out how we can track it. What are even, like, the fastest growing ways. We were never shooting for, like, let's get this number of streams. It was more sort of, let's figure out the lay of the land. Because I don't think, like, through the DIY way, you don't know till you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, let's throw it out there. And, like, I like it, and Rory likes it. And, I mean, the song
it's
itself...
more of a mixtape thing if you think about it.
It's a really wonky
like
song. It's just, I mean...
It's interesting, but, like, this album that is coming up is really this gem that we're working on. I mean, it's got some incredible stuff.
More than one line in each song.
The production value is, like, through the roof and stuff. Like, I'm so excited to share it with people. I've been showing it to people, like, near to me, and they have been, like... I mean, and these are the people that I show music to for years. And they are like, you've really, like, got something here. This is, like, something else. Keep this. Lock it up. It's those types of songs. Every now and again, you'll get those songs where people are like, hey, hold on to this one for a second.
Yeah.
And this is, like, the summation of those songs. So it's going to be really cool to release this. I'm really excited.
And with these songs, it's getting to the point where it's like, it's no longer us, I guess, going around, hey, would you like to be on this? Hey, would you like to be on that? It's more of, hey, can I be on that? Kind of thing, as far like when you send it out to people. And so that's the point where we're realizing, okay,
yeah, people coming to you now.
When people come to you, that's kind of different. So
what do you mean, like people coming to you for your music?
Okay. Yeah, so like I'll write words, and I always write it with Rory's voice in mind,
okay,
from the start. So whenever the song's on, I'll write it from that. And then maybe if the words don't match what Rory wants to say, or Rory hates my words, very common thing, then I'm like, okay, and I'll tuck them away, and maybe I'll use them somewhere else with someone else another time, kind of thing, and then start over, and then keep going on that way. So I've got like tons and tons of lyrics for years and years and years that have just been kind of tucked away. But that way, if I'm working with someone else, I can go over and just whip out, okay, maybe this melody with these words might work. Usually the words that get tucked away are very basic and not deep enough, so they stay over here and then applied somewhere else. But with our stuff, the writing takes a very, very long time. Probably the hardest part of the entire thing.
Yeah, because you want it to be personal, and you want it to be like, you want you want it to be truthful. You don't want to be embellishing on anything. You don't want to be writing about experience that you don't have. That doesn't make sense. You got to start seeing these things as an art form. It's like embellishing in things in like rap song. Like I get it, that's part of the genre and things like that. But we're not about that. You know, Jay-Z writes truthfully, and that's what I like about him. You know, he's got one of my favorite lines of Jay-Z's is he's talking about him and his wife, and he says, "What's better than one billionaire? Two."
Yeah.
So it's like he just said, and then at that rate, you can't argue with him because he's just telling the truth. And you see that too in artists, like you can tell the difference when an artist is really speaking the truth. Kanye on Yeezus and things like this. Like now in that he embellishes too, but like it pays off so much more. And when you tell your own truth, then that is what makes other people see it too, and they'll see, holy shit, that's my truth. This guy gets it. Yeah. This is someone who knows what he's like. This guy is talking about a real human experience, and that's what can foster connection between you and a fan base.
Yeah, and also, like, I guess I've got a lot of frustrations, like, with working with others when they want to jump on something and whatnot, and that kind of thing. Especially when it comes to writing, because if I write the whole thing according to Rory's voice, in Rory's lyrics, and we finally get to agree on something, and then someone else wants to hop on and say, okay, but let's change those lyrics to something a little different, kind of thing. It's like, take a deep breath. Let's see. And our rule is, if you're going to suggest changes or want to jump on something or do it, send me it. Here's the instrumental. Go do a voice memo, send it back, and we'll see what we think, kind of thing.
And it's hilarious how many times people just
don't. If you don't, then do you really want to be on it or not? Kind of thing.
A lot of people don't want to be directed. A lot of people don't want to be produced. Yes. That's exactly what producing is.
And finally, now it's on them. It's like, you know this from being a producer. Like, I've made this entire song. I've put my creative output out there. It's one of the scariest things you can do. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, you want to write it? On you go, and send it back to me. Then people are shitting themselves. They're like, oh, God, I forgot. I'm going to have to actually put something personal out here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, you can tell really quickly, like with the type of words people use, how deep we're going with this. I guess, like, I don't know. I've spent enough time writing my own music to realize, okay, Michael, we're being a bit too basic here. Come up with a new concept. Come up with something new. Don't use that word. Way, day, night. Just like chill. With so
we call them Rhyme Zone lyrics.
Yes, if you've spent too much time on Rhyme Zone,
the Rhyme Zone.
Yeah, Rhyme Zone's like the greatest thing ever.
If you look up words that rhyme with, and then insert any word, Rhyme Zone is like the thing that will bring it up. Like sat, cat, bat, mat. You know, like one for one.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's interesting, and like it helps. Yeah. It helps if you listen to a lot of music, because then you know what's saturated and what's not.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say so guys, you can stream their new song Unreal. There's a link tree on their Instagram. If you click on it, it gives you a bunch of different options to. Yeah, I'm sure you got like an Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Tidal. So you just click on one of these, and then you can hear their song. But yeah, so super cool, man. And I was playing that. I did a little promo video for the start of season 4, and I was playing it at the beginning. I don't know if you're watching it on YouTube, but I was playing it at the beginning, and I played your song. So that's what you were hearing at the beginning.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. So the big thing I want to talk about, the music scene in Europe versus Louisville. I'm sure it's insane, but like DJing in Europe versus DJing in Louisville or America. And you told me about like even just like the music scene. There's in Europe, there's a lot of niche like clubs with different types of music. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, starting out, I don't think every city has clubs, but not every continent has an Ibiza or like something that size. So a place, it's kind of like, how can I describe it? diverse tastes is what I would say. You can hear lots of different things. And what's interesting, I actually learned this recently. Music in the UK used to drop on a Tuesday, whereas in the US it was typically more of a Friday thing.
Yeah.
Which meant that the new music came out on a Tuesday, faster in the UK. And I always realized, like, my cousin who lives in Glasgow, he would hear new music or know new music faster than me. And I think that in Europe, people have a hunger to get to what's newer a lot faster. It's why I'm playing hurricanes of light music. Still, kind of thing.
And then one thing I'll add to all that is that, again, what we're talking about, music to be made to play live. If you want to look at the music of a place, look at how it's performed live. So we've got more club scene here, like a vastly more club scene. And then you've got places like Ibiza and Tenerife, where places are like hot, like islands that are dedicated to festivals. And with that, that's pretty insane. When you're in the Mediterranean and you've flown there with 20 of your pals and there's campgrounds so that you never even have to leave the festival, you're going to want some crazy music. So what takes over often a lot here is dance and EDM. You'll hear a lot more of that here. America, way more associated with trap. If anybody has Apple Music, what you can actually do, they added this, I found it really interesting. They started doing playlists of top 25s of cities around the world. Chicago, New York, Glasgow, Tokyo, London. Seeing those will give you the best representation.
Dude, I bet. Yeah.
But they're so interested. There's a whole lot more. So UK I can talk. Scotland I can talk for. They're going to be like pop hits. They're huge into electronic music. That's really where that goes. And I would say that a lot of Europe falls pattern. Now, there's more rap kicking up in the UK in like recent years too, with like grime, people like Skepta, Stormzy, and that.
Yeah.
But
what about drill? What about drill in Europe?
Oh yeah, that's huge here too. And that that took heart in like this, South London and things like that, and brought up. But yeah.
But just to be clear, like London drill in hip hop in the UK, it's so recent. Like it's been around quite a while, but its acceptance, like
I know, yeah,
is nuts. So like even as far like as recent as like 2015. So I think what was it? There's only ever been one UK hip hop artist like headline a major festival in the UK. Ever.
Who was it?
It was Stormzy.
Oh, okay.
A few years ago. But as far as like outside the UK, they had in 2015. I mean, they had Jay-Z a while before that. But just as an example, they had Kanye in 2015, and the organizers were receiving death threats because they did not want him on the stage, kind of thing. So there is this.
Poor Kanye.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, and so it's that kind of atmosphere. Like they're very specific what they want to hear. People love 80s music for sure, all the time. And one of the big, like, if you're not into dance or you're not into hip hop, then it's Britpop, which is like
Britpop.
90s. Yeah, which is like, and there are clubs that exist that strictly play Britpop.
So yeah, like there's one Firewater in Glasgow, and the club actually splits into two places. And if you go into the left one, you'll hear like pop hits, electronic music, like that whole thing. If you go into the right, straight rock and roll.
Yeah,
that's so cool. That is super cool.
That's a modern club. Now that people 18, 19, those are the types going there, and it's still accepted as that as a mainstream legitimate element. A lot of people in America are like, "Oh, rock and roll's dead." Go to Europe; it's still living.
Yeah, and yeah, it's interesting because like Britpop itself is kind of hard to narrow down, but if you think along the lines of like band, like it's really band based. So like the 1975, if they were around in the 90s, would be Britpop. It's like Oasis is a Britpop band. Blur is a bit Britpop band.
Yeah, so there's
it's a weird specific thing, and it's tied culturally to some different things as well. It's really cultural based.
And I will say, we've found this really interesting thing too. It's when you listen to like a piece of music in the city that the artist is from, it makes like more sense.
I was just gonna say, probably
He's
a lot
not
more
from
sense.
there, he's not from there, but we spent 2 months in California back at the start of the year, and we listened to Tame Impala, and it hit different. Like it was really, you could tell he's not from there. But like listening to Kanye in Chicago, when you hear flashing lights and see the Chicago skyline, it's different. And when you're listening here to like those 90s like grunge rock kind of things, you get it. It's like, oh, right, okay, the aesthetic is right.
Mm-hmm.
The aesthetic is right. Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Hey, nice, man.
Dude, that's super cool.
Yes,
so now, like, what are some? So what do you see in Louisville that's different? What's better and what's not good about DJing in Europe or music in Europe versus Louisville or America?
I would say, in Louisville is a great city. I really love Louisville a lot. There's no but coming. I really do love Louisville. There's a very interesting difference in like the class of people that are coming to it though. A lot that has to do with, honestly, I'd even put it down to like public versus private schools, where people came from, and that can judge your differences. I'd say in America, in the frat systems especially, depending on what frats that you're playing at, there are going to be musical changes there too. And it just gets harder because it's like, I really don't know, there's no well, I mean, maybe there is, but like, it is hard to find a transition between Sweet Caroline and Mo Bamba. But they're going to want to hear both. And that's very unique, I would say. Because you've got, like Kentucky is like, there's always that argument, it's southern, but it's like the most northern south. And you see that. So there's like southern and northern definitely take hold in Louisville in a really interesting way. They smash together. And so you have people with really diverse tastes all over the place. And growing up in that and like starting DJing there was a really weird experience because you got a really unique music like palette from everyone. So you could play different songs at parties that would hit. And then you go to Chicago and it's like, oh, right, this does not hit here at all. Mm-hmm. But Louisville is really good at meshing a lot of sounds into one. People's palettes are really big in Louisville. They listen to a lot of different music, and they'll want to hear a lot of different music live as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Forecastle is a great example of that. You got like, you can walk from like Boom Stage where you're seeing like some random trap artist, and then you can look over like the main stage where some pop group you've never heard of is performing.
Yeah.
And then there's like a strange violin quartet playing, the other one playing bluegrass music. And it's like, what? But at all three, people are going mad.
Yeah, there's always somebody, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Always somebody there who it's like, man, I would fucking drive 100 miles to go see these people. So I would say that versatility is something Louisville has unique to it.
And I think Louisville also has the ability to come around to things eventually. Like it might not hit right away, but over time, like Louisville allows things to develop, and kind of grow on them as time goes along, kind of thing. Because I know for a fact that like Jack Harlow, for example, really struggled early on because it was in high school. And like getting people to take him seriously at times was difficult.
Yeah.
And it was like really, really difficult. And today, like there's kids in high school because he's a year older than me, I think. And there's kids in high school today. They're like, oh, this guy's the coolest, this, and that kind of thing. And we love his music and like huge fans, that kind of thing.
And we were like the guy from Atherton?
Yeah, it's just like, man, what, like the transition there, like. People really came around to that. Like it took a process.
Yeah. Well, he definitely got better too. But
this is also true. But it definitely took a while, and that's what's kind of like something that I know is attractive to us. Is like maybe they can come around to us at some point.
And if not, then we're not necessarily concerned.
Yes,
we don't really care.
Yes.
We're kind of making music for us, It's not if you like our music, then you can come and listen to it. And if not, then we're not concerned with you. Right? That's kind of our aim.
That's the attitude, bro. Hey, make music for yourself, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's our truth as well. It's the same thing. So if you don't mess with it, it's like, I'm not going to change anything for you. I can't change. I'm only telling the truth up here.
So, talking about, your all's music, what is your all's creative process like? Like, how do you go about making a song?
Throwing paint at the wall. It's like, as a whole, sometimes we approach from music standpoint, but right now what we're doing is we approach from a songwriting standpoint first. So with an album, it's different from like if you're just like making a beat in Chicago. It's like, all right, what's the kick sound like? What's the hit snare? Where's the 808? That kind of thing. But when you're writing something like an album, it takes more than that. You can't start with the instruments on an album. You got to start with the story that you want to tell. And you want to show the arc to it too. So it takes a lot more conceptualizing first. And then once you have that conceptualization, once you have the story, the arc and kind of things, and the things you want to hit on, and once you have the words to it too, then we just lay that down. And then the music comes from that. Not to keep going back to Kanye, but like listen to the lyrics of Yeezus, and then the sounds around it make sense for it, It's dark, it's abysmal, it's like it's in a cathedral, it's all big, huge, life or death things, because that's what he's talking about in it too. Massive things. Tyler the Creator, he has like these beautiful sounds meshed with these like really hard hitting toxic 808s. And if you listen to his lyrics, he's describing being caught between two things, between being bombastic and over the top, but also being lonely and like not feeling like he was ever enough for things. And so we wanted to do that exact same thing.
And that's amazing. That's a good description of Tyler. His new album is awesome.
Oh,
it's
God.
so good, man. The juxtaposition that he's got with DJ Drama and then like a bass clarinet and a flute is just like, dude, what? It's so cool, dude. I really enjoyed it. But okay, so yeah, that's super cool. So so who's doing what when you first sit down and make a song? I know that you play the instruments and you're doing the kind of the lyrics, but what, how do you all get inspired?
I think it's really who yells at the other first. Meaning, like, if I have words and I'm like, Ruri, we got to make it like this, something that sounds like this, something that sounds like this. Ruri, we need to make this song. It sounds like this. And if that wins out, then the song begins, and the words are kind of coming first, and it's morphing like that. Otherwise, it really involves Ruri making music somehow when I'm not looking.
Well, I think
somewhere, and then he'll send me it, or I'll find it on his laptop, and then from there it'll kind of develop, and I'll start writing some words around it, and then see if it fits our sound, or if we maybe keep it for something else, and then we kind of move from there. I'm always writing.
But what it's going off of as well, like, the Tyler the Creator juxtaposition, it's like we're like the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. But when we meet, we actually end up going in the same direction. Because it takes the two of us coming together, opposing sides, and like going back and forth on things, and that's how we found what breeds the greatest output. So we have to come together, and we have to spar, and we have to because when you spar, then you become passionate about the thing that you're talking about. And then when that's the case, then you've really got something. Mm-hmm. So we go back and forth like that, and it's together that we it comes together. It doesn't really start from any one source. It's like it comes, we develop parts on our own and we come and show it to each other, but like we're not one without the other.
Yeah,
absolutely, not one without the other. Well, that's awesome. So what's any words of advice for producers and DJs coming out of Louisville getting started?
Quit.
Why you say that?
No.
Because y'all about to take over. There's no competition. No competition.
No. I was just trying to throw people off. But lessen at the competition. If I had any advice, it would be that the most terrifying thing you can do is be yourself, and that is often what you're most afraid of doing is sometimes the thing that you need to do most. And it's very nice to make Drake-type beats and Kanye-type beats, but you've got to find the you-type beat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
my thing with type beats is like, I get you're trying to, get placements and stuff, but like, these people already have beats that from producers that they make. That's a whole different story. Type beats is a whole different conversation. But anyways, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no, that's honestly my biggest advice for people would be you gotta take that leap of faith, and the sooner the better. And when you first start out doing that, it's gonna be well shit. It's gonna be well shit, and you're not gonna like what comes out. But keep plugging away until you find that thing that you do like. Because nobody, I promise you, if you just sound like everybody else, you're gonna fade away like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Harsh, but true.
But true. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
And it'll take a while too. I mean, my God, it took us like 3 years to come up with a single, and like it takes a while.
It does, yeah, it does.
That's when people really step out. Then you see it. I mean, Tyler the Creator. Who the hell sounds like him? Nobody.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. And to me, he's like Mac Miller in terms of always making good, relevant, different music.
Yes.
I wouldn't, I guess you could say they might sound similar, but I'm talking about in terms of like consistency,
Yeah. And then once you're there, the consistency that you can get from that. I think like Tame Impala and things like that, like, once you get out there and find what it is, then people turn to it because not only is it good and not only does it make sense and it's valuable to them as people, but they've never heard anything like that before, and that's exciting.
Yeah, I felt like Tyler's album, what was it? If You Call Me, Get Lost, or when you call me. I felt like it was like Flower Boy, like on steroids. Like it was just like it would just took it to a whole nother level. But that's a different conversation. But no, I get what you're saying, man. Yeah. So yeah. Well, guys, it has been quite the informative show to have y'all on here. I appreciate all the gems about DJing, man. That's opening my mind about the 5-set. Like that all makes sense. I just never really thought about it, but I'm sure
Next
that like
on aux in the car.
Yeah. That's true. I got to get my aux skills up. Nobody ever asked me. I mean, I'm usually driving by myself, but nobody ever asked me gives me the aux. So I guess they have no faith in me, but I don't know.
Make them have faith in you. You got to take charge. Give me the aux.
For sure. But before y'all leave, I'm going to put y'all in the lush lockdown. I got some opinion-based questions about Louisville for y'all, all right? I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Hold up. Let me get this timer up here.
Oh, damn.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and I'm going to ask, there's two of y'all. So I guess I'll give y'all 15 seconds to answer. Dude, what happened to this? I used to have a timer on here that you could, like, see. Hold up. Whatever. Forget it. I'll just use my phone. I'll hold my phone up to y'all. All right, I'm going to give y'all 15 seconds.
Oh, damn.
The first question. You're in Louisville and you have $10 and it's a Friday night. Where are you going to eat? You got 14 seconds. Oh, that's minutes. Hang on.
$10.
Time out. All right, go. Hold up.
It's got to be somewhere on Barstown Road. That's the only place you're going to get good food here. And the
8,
answer...
7, 6, 5.
Blue City Tacos, if that's a bit. I forget what it's called.
Okay.
Blue City Tacos.
Yeah.
I've heard about it. I don't know if I've eaten there
Taco City, Louisville. That's
what it is.
on Barstown.
Okay. I think somebody had said that before on here. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I have heard of that. So it's good. They got good tacos.
Right. Yeah, they are always. I'm in there with DoorDash all the time. Like they are like just in and out. They're popping.
Okay. Yeah, dude, I bet DoorDash goes crazy there. All right, you got 15 seconds. Best venue in Louisville.
Waterfront Park.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, why?
Forecastle and Waterfront Wednesday. Also the views of the city. Also just like the general like nature of it. You feel like you're in the city, but when they fence it off, it really does feel like a unique place. It's down by the water too. Anything with water ups it. And the lights that you get on the walking bridge when the sun goes down as well. That's just added to your whole environment.
No, for sure. No, I feel you. That it's definitely a great. I forgot about Waterfront Wednesday. That was like that was high school.
Bringing it back.
That was high school summer right there, dude. That was so fun. I remember the first time I went, I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it was like everybody went to that, you know? I totally forgot about that. And they had some good shows there too, some good bands, man.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I gotta make it out this year.
All right. Final question, and this is compliments to Ruri here. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or
Yes.
one duck or one
Horse.
horse the size of or one duck the size of a horse, right?
Yes.
That was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So think about that question. You got 15 seconds. This is so easy. 100
Bring on the horses.
Yes, 100 horses.
Bring on the horses.
you would rather
Ducks
fight
can-
100 little horses running around
Let me
like
lay
ducks
there.
or one giant duck. What is a duck going to do? First of all, there's only
Let me lay this down. Let me lay this down. You've seen geese. You've seen ducks in the park when they're scared. Fuckers can move. Now they're the size, and their muscle density has the size of a horse. They are nippy little fuckers. So yes, it's like, oh, it's great. Oh, I'm gonna fight it. The minute that thing runs at you, you're gonna shit yourself. Get my kicks on. 100 horses, 2 feet, no bother. Kicking them out, every single one. Be like going against toddlers.
Oh, wow. Jeez, harsh. That is an interesting question. When you said that yesterday, Michael, I was like, all right, I'm going to put him in rush lockdown with that. That's interesting. That's funny.
What you saying?
See, that's the thing. I don't know how to take down a duck. Like a horse.
Grab it
has
by the
4
neck. Grab it by the neck.
A horse has 4 legs, and if you can knock it down, and it's just down, something like that,
Yeah,
right?
I
No,
guess
they can get up. They can get up, but it might take a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Goofy doing it too.
They
But
roll it
with-
around on their back.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to. Like a duck could actually eat you if
Yeah.
it was that size.
It
So-
was like it come down on you.
Yeah, I guess its mouth would be way bigger too, you know?
And it can
It's
fly.
just like a giant...
It can
A
fly.
giant- Oh,
Wasn't
dude.
considering that.
Dude, a duck the size of a horse that could fly? That's true. Maybe it would just fly away then, and you wouldn't have to deal with it.
Hopefully.
There you go.
Hopefully, that is a mythical creature.
Yes.
Well, guys, I can say it has been a pleasure having you all on here.
Thank you so much.
Last question. Your name.
Oh.
Where did you come up with your name, Florana?
Oh, this is cool. So, my brother and I, we were huge video game enthusiasts as well. We were younger. We were on the PlayStation 2, greatest console ever. And we had this,
I
our
can agree.
favorite game was Ratchet and Clank. And there was this one mission we played. Now, this was back in the day when
Definitely
you
a
had
classic. Definitely a classic.
These were back in the days when you had like memory sticks, right? And our favorite game was the 3rd one, but we lost
God.
memory stick. We lost it. So there was no saving. So for a while, we would come home from school and
Just have
just
to-
play the start of the game over and over. And there was always a time right around 5 o'clock when we got called up for dinner or like to do homework or whatever. And the name of the planet that we always made it to before
Got
we
stuck
reset was Florana.
What? That's pretty cool. That's a good story. A good
And
story.
I mean, we've been, that goes to show like how long we've been together, how long we've been fighting with each other about what we should do. It's just, that's a really deep connection for us.
Dude, for sure. That's
That's
awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, any last words of advice for Louisville producers and DJs?
I think I guess everybody starts out shit.
Try not to be shit.
Try not to be bad, and also don't rush the process of
Get
getting
better.
good.
Yes.
Yes, don't rush the process. It's okay.
Absolutely. Never
Yeah.
rush the process.
Kick ass, man. I'm really I'm glad
Yeah.
you had us in here.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all reaching out to me through email. That was super cool. I was like, "Yo, absolutely, I have y'all first show season 4. That's amazing, man." And y'all keep it up, and I'll be in touch and keep in touch about the album. Let us know, and guys, you can follow Florana. It's just Florana Music, FLORANA Music on Instagram. And again, stream their link to whatever streaming service you're using is on their. Oh wait, hang on, let me pull it up here. On their Instagram, right here, the link tree. Just click on that and stream their single. Whoops. And yeah. So, yeah, it gives you whatever streaming platform you got right here. Click on it, and they'll have their single. So yeah, keep us up to date with the album, and I'll be in touch, y'all. Appreciate it. A lot of good gems, a lot of DJing stuff I didn't know, man. It's super cool, super dope.
Course. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll be in touch. All right.
All right. Sounds good.
Sweet.
Sounds
Y'all
good.
be safe. Y'all be safe. Have a good day.
You too, man.
You too.
Peace. Man. Super cool show. Some of that, the 5 set with the DJing, key. I never would have thought of that. But again, it makes sense. You know, you got to keep people's attention. You gotta have something going. And no silence. Silence is a sin. But yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in today. You know, we're back. I'm gonna be doing this every week, every Saturday at 1 p.m. So next week we got episode 32. Got a few guests lined up for that. So be sure to tune in. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Got a long weekend next weekend. We have 4th of July off for Amazon. So I got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. I'm looking forward to that. I got to go back to work tomorrow. So, but yeah, everybody stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in to